Everyone, and this is Eyewitness News at 6 o'clock, and the start to an emotional week as the community prepares to say its final goodbyes to a sheriff's deputy who gave the ultimate sacrifice.
A procession earlier today escorted Boone County Sheriff's Deputy Jacob Pickett's body downtown to the coroner's office. This was the scene this morning. This after doctors took him off life support overnight. He donated several of his organs, including his heart. Dozens of people lined the route to pay their respects, including students at Crispus Attucks High School who were allowed out of the classroom to watch the procession go by. The moment hit especially close to home for two people that we caught up with, a woman whose husband is a Johnson County Sheriff's deputy and a man who works as a paramedic in Boone County.
Emotional. I have a 4-year-old son, and I never want to have to tell him that his daddy isn't coming home.
I was okay until the hearse showed up with the family behind it, and then my heart started breaking. It's pretty tough.
Jenny Runovich will talk more about the support for Deputy Pickett and his family coming up in just a few minutes.
But first, we want to start with Rich Van Wyk, who spoke to the father of the man accused of shooting Deputy Pickett. And Rich, what was his message today?
Anthony Bumgard's father says he is more concerned for the welfare of Deputy Pickett's family than his own son right now. We caught up with Robert Bumgard in his rural home. He feels awful about what's occurred.
I just care about the family, the officer. And
more than for your son right now?
Oh, yes.
Robert Bumgard knew his son Anthony was living a troubled life, but he couldn't believe the 21-year-old was jailed and charged with murdering Deputy Jacob Pickett.
It's hard not to love a child, but when a child totally rebels you and has nothing to do with you, it's like when he moved out of here 5 years ago, he told me that I was dead to him, and that's the way I left it. I was dead to him.
Robert says his son quit school at 15, got caught up in drugs and related crimes.
We tried to get him back in the program. They wouldn't. We had called the law on him several times. They would do nothing to him. He just went down the wrong road, had the attitude, don't care. And you can't help somebody that can't be helped.
Robert says Anthony came home a few months ago and stayed for a couple of days.
Totally not the same kid that he was when he left.
He just walked away?
Yeah, just walked away.
How much are you hurting, and who are you hurting for right now?
I'm hurting for everybody. I mean, what he's done don't hurt just a couple families. It's hurting the whole world. It's not just hurting me or them in particular. He's hurt the whole world.
There's a lot of hurt in Boone County tonight. Tomorrow, we will hear from the prosecutor, the sheriff, and others in Boone County. We expect to get the latest on this criminal investigation. The prosecutor expected to brief us on the exact charges that Bumgard will be charged with. We'll also get details, times, and places of the family visitation and the funeral for Deputy Pickett. Andrea?
All right, I'll take it back. Thanks, Rich. Deputy Pickett and his family are getting support from all across the state. For example, in Lawrence, the city this morning lowered flags at half-staff outside the government center. This in honor of Deputy Pickett and the Boone County Sheriff's Office. And in Kokomo, we've learned the young boy who warmed hearts when he raised money for fallen Southport Police Lieutenant Aaron Allen's family will do the same for Pickett's family. Malachi will open up his lemonade stand from 12 to 4 p.m. this Friday. You'll hear from Malachi about the response he's getting tonight on Eyewitness News at 11 o'clock. And as Rich just mentioned, we'll know more about Deputy Pickett's memorial plans tomorrow. The sheriff is telling us visitation will be Thursday and the funeral on Friday. Yeah, it is a massive undertaking to plan services for a fallen officer. And Jenny Runovich is in Boone County tonight with the special team behind this tribute. Jenny?
Nielsen says there are no words to describe what he is feeling.
Yeah, John, is a team of 12 to 15 officers from all across the state who were activated immediately after a line of duty death. Well, this team has been activated a lot lately. Here in Boone County, their goal is to honor Deputy Jacob Pickett the best way they can. This scene from police and the public, equal parts mournful and moving, is just the start of an emotional final salute for Boone County Deputy Jacob Pickett.
That the amount of cars and the amount of people that were standing there to see that first movement really touched our hearts, and that gives us the strength and the passion to move forward to this week, which is going to be a very, very tough week for all of us.
In fact, as hundreds of officers escorted the deputy's body downtown, a small team of 12 behind the scenes started preparing to honor yet another fallen hero.
Actually, if you go back to David Moore.
For Joe Hamer, it's the 9th line of duty death he's had to plan since 2012, the 35th in his career. He's the chairman of the FOP's Critical Incident Memorial Team, so he's been there for Wren, for Kuntz, for Allen. It's a job they call an unfortunate privilege.
It is to be there for these families and to respect the families' wishes and to pay tribute to the officer for their sacrifice that they made for this community and the country.
The team is meeting with the Pickett family today to painstakingly plan the deputy's funeral on Friday, decide on traditions we've seen far too often lately.
21 gun salutes, riderless horse, taps, bagpipes.
And personalize the service according to the family's wishes. Because Deputy Pickett has 2 young sons, the team plans to document everything, just like they did for Noah Kuntz.
And we'll make sure that we capture those things on video or photos, the day of the visitation, the day of the funeral. All those things will be captured so that they have those later on when the kids want to ask questions and they want to remember how Daddy was honored.
And the team will make sure that those kids know that Daddy was a hero. It's also what many in Boone County across the state are coming here to do, convey that to the family with many cards and notes saying thank you to their father. Of course, we should learn, as Rich mentioned, specific details about the memorial plans for Deputy Pickett tomorrow afternoon, and we will share them with you. Ann.
All right, Jenny, and then of course we'll plan accordingly and provide live coverage for our community as we remember this fallen officer. Thank you. Well, if it seems like this happens almost every year in Indiana, it's because as of recently it has. Look at these pictures. Since 2013, there's been only 1 year where no Central Indiana officer were killed in the line of duty.